Hi there, and welcome to the Spark Accounting Solutions Facebook Live show. I have a question for you. Do you often get overwhelmed by your email inbox? Well, if so, you're not alone. My name is Jennifer Quinn. I go by Jenny Q, and I'm here today with the founder of Spark Accounting Solutions, and we are going to talk about 5 tips to help you get better control over your email inbox and not have it take so much of your time, so much of your productivity. And so with that, let me introduce the founder of Spark Accounting Solutions. She's also a Profit First professional, and she serves on the Intuit Advisory Board, which is kind of a big deal. There are only 18 members on that. And so let's bring her on. Welcome, Julie Babcock-Hyde. Hello, Julie.
Hello, good morning. I am excited to talk about email.
Wait, you're legitimately excited, or that's just what you feel like you should say?
I am legitimately excited to talk about email only because it is a huge problem that I think all of us feel overwhelmed by email. And so I think there's a lot of interesting strategies that I've learned over the years and that I'm happy to share because it's a problem.
Perfect. Well, I am excited to hear what you have to say because I would be embarrassed to admit how many unread emails I have in my inbox. And so Richard Ropa is joining us. He says, I am so nodding my head in agreement. That is awesome. And also, if you're joining us, leave a comment so we can give you a shout out. If you have a question, I'm going to come back to those. But Julie, what do you say we jump right into number 1? Number 1 tip.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, so take it.
My first tip is to look at your inbox and get the stuff out of there that you don't need. We all sign up for subscriptions. We want whatever freebie is being given to us, but at some point, we're still a subscriber. We still have stuff popping into our inbox, but it's not stuff that we need. So it's time to unsubscribe. And I want to talk a little bit about the average. There was a study done a few years ago, and the average number of emails that somebody receives in a day is 121. And I bet it's even higher now. That was from 2015. And my challenge to you is how much of those are not even emails that you need. So unsubscribe. And there's a lot of really cool tools that you can use to unsubscribe from emails. So I really thought I had, there's an unsubscribe one. I can't find my list of them. We'll have to post it later.
You know what? The one that I know of is Unroll. Have you ever used that one?
Yes. So those go in and kind of help you identify the subscriptions that you're getting and help you get them out of your inbox.
Okay.
But sometimes you don't want to unsubscribe from everything, right? Sometimes there's things that you still want to get. They're valuable newsletters. And so what I like to do on those is set up a rule to filter them and drop them into a folder.
Oh,
I can go and read them later. Time chunking is important. So if you can block out a chunk of time on your calendar to do one specific thing and lump it all together, so it's helpful and it's more efficient. So if that thing that you can lump together is catching up on all the educational newsletters you get every week, set them aside, put them together, and do it all at once instead of trying to keep up every day as you're constantly getting new emails from them.
I like that a lot. And I learned a very maybe painful lesson this week on email. There was a company that I was subscribed to that they were important emails to get. I needed to get them. And all of a sudden one popped up in my primary, because I use Gmail as my main place to read my email. And so it popped up in the primary folder, and it was like they had been sending me emails for months that I wasn't getting because I hadn't prioritized them as a company that I needed to get emails from. And so that's also maybe I'm jumping ahead, but that's something too. You can use the filters to make sure you're prioritizing the things you really have to see immediately.
Yeah, I actually had a very similar experience this week with something that went to a different email box entirely that I don't regularly check, and it was important. And it was kind of a big oops situation that I had to go fix quickly. So yeah, I think realizing all of the different inboxes we have, and managing all of them is important. Because I don't know about you, but I've got probably at least 5 different email addresses that I use for different purposes. Some of them are personal, some of them are business, but keeping track of all of them is important and putting rules around them. So like the one that I missed went to one of my personal inboxes that I don't check frequently. So as soon as I figured out I missed it, I automatically set a rule to forward any emails from that particular company to me, because I wasn't able to switch the email address associated with it.
Yeah, no, that's really, really, really good. I felt so like, okay, I felt dumb. I was like, come on, I should have known better. Anyway, Richard Ropa says, skip the inbox is my favorite rule. It is a good rule.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I do that for all of my newsletters that I want. They skip the inbox. They go down to that folder so that I can go in and update myself on my schedule, not on their schedule.
Mic drop right there. That was good. And you actually do block it out in your calendar, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got time that I do education, or so sometimes it's, catching up on business books. Sometimes it is doing continuing education that I have to do for my license. And sometimes it is catching up on newsletters to figure out what's new and exciting that's going on that I need to know about.
So can I just kind of digress a little bit and ask you, because I'm fascinated at how people do this so differently. So how much time do you time block? What percentage of your workday or week do you time block for those educational and professional development segments?
I will be honest and tell you it varies, because there's certain parts of the week there's certain parts of the month that are more labor intensive for me, that have more client interaction. And so I typically am looking, I have to have 40 hours of continuing education a year.
Okay.
And that's official continuing education. And then I've got the extra stuff that I do. So when I block it, when I think about it from kind of on a weekly basis, I'm probably spending an hour to 2 on average each week doing continuing education or catching up on newsletters and events. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's significant. I would love to hear from the viewers too, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Put in the comments. I'd love to know what percentage of time, or how do you time block? Because it's so important to keep up on all the things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff's changing all the time.
Thank you for letting me ask that, because that's just one of the things that I'm fascinated at, how people do it so differently. Okay. So let's jump on. Did we cover everything in the unsubscribe?
We did.
Okay, cool.
Cover everything there.
This one, good luck with it. Here we go, guys. It's don't check your email all day long.
This one is so hard to do. It really is hard to do. When I started my business several years ago, after the first few months, the first thing I spent my time doing was, I realized I was getting overwhelmed with email and notifications and everything coming in from my phone. So that was one of the first things I made some changes to, was I made my phone stop beeping at me every time I got an email, every time I got a Facebook message. I had to make that go away. But about 2 years ago, I found myself, I kept going over to my inbox to see what was happening. Well, when you keep going over to your inbox, you can't get your work done. Because there's new work that's coming in all the time, right? There's new questions, and it steals from your priorities. If you had a priority of something to get done today and you start checking your inbox, there may be 50 things that potentially can hop in front of it. So one of the tools that I have started using is a program called Boomerang, and they've got an add-on called Pause. And so you can pause, you can manually pause your inbox. There's a little button that you click to pause it. Or I actually have my email scheduled to only be delivered. I think it's at 3 times a day right now. So at 11 and at 1, actually 4 times a day, 3 and 5. And so that has been really powerful for me, because most of us, if you can get in and get your priorities done first thing in the morning before you check your inbox, that's really powerful. And that's why I don't have my first email show up until 11. It gives me 3 solid hours before somebody else can derail me to get my priority done for that day. So that's my tip on that. You don't have to do the automated delivery, and there's other solutions besides Boomerang Pause. But, I think Richard said, hey, schedule it on your calendar to check your inbox.
Yeah.
That's another way to do it. But just finding a way to not be in there. Interesting study. And I don't know that I agree with it for me personally, but they did a study. The Danwood Group did a study that said on average, each email interruption takes you 64 seconds to transition back.
Oh, totally believe it. I would even think it'd be higher.
I think it's higher. That's why I don't believe it. For me, when I go off on something to get back to what I was doing, I feel like it takes me a good 5 to 10 minutes to be like, okay, where was I at? What was I doing? Where was I at in this project? So those email interruptions really do cost time, but they do something else. There was another study that UC Irvine did along with I think it was the Army. And they found that people who were not having constant interruptions from email were less stressed. And that's huge. That's a health issue, right? And so if you can reduce your email interruptions, not only are you getting more done, you're not as distracted, but you're also less stressed. Who couldn't use a little bit less stress?
Well, that's huge. I mean, that's huge. Especially, we have so many different things in life right now, grabbing our attention. This is just one that seems a little bit easier to minimize.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's really fascinating. Okay. So number 3, let's just skedaddle right to that.
Okay.
We kind of touched upon it.
We did touch upon it, but I want to go in more depth about filters and rules.
Yes.
So we use a lot of technology to serve our clients. And so, for example, we use a program called HubDoc. And so when people send receipts into us, they send it into HubDoc. And so for my own account, when I get an Amazon invoice in my email account, it skips the inbox and it automatically gets forwarded to HubDoc. So now I've got my accountant, myself, the information that we need to be able to do the books. And I got the receipt out of my inbox all without doing anything. So these rules can reduce your workload, not just by filing things for you, but also doing some of your work for you a lot of times. And so using forwards, using filters is really important and really makes things easy. It also can be very helpful if you need to clean up your inbox. If you're somebody that has a huge inbox and you're like, okay, how do I get this stuff out of my inbox? And I've been in this place before where I've just been like, oh crap, it's been a month since I really processed my inbox. What am I going to do? It's really cool to actually, set up a search, find all the emails from a certain client, dump them in their folder, and you can set up a filter at the same time that you're doing that a lot of times, depending on your email program. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I have a question for you because I'm picturing really super busy, professionals or small business owners or entrepreneurs, and, they're working so fast just to get the workout and, the marketing and all the things. And now you're saying, take some time out of your day and set up these processes, which sounds like I don't have the time to do that. So what would you say to somebody like that?
I think the key is if you have to process a lot of these emails at some point anyway. Or if you're not processing them, we're going to get to tip number 4, which might also help you.
Okay.
But take some time. It's kind of like cleaning your house or anything else in your life. If you'll spend a few minutes on it every day, it's a heck of a lot easier to maintain than if you get to the end of the month and, okay, if you're getting 200 emails a day and it's the end of the month, that means you have at least 600 emails in your inbox that you need to deal with.
Okay.
And if you don't do it this month and you don't do it next month and you don't do it next month, by the end of the year, you've got a lot of emails in your inbox.
Right. Well, I do actually have
emails in your inbox.
I actually do.
And so either, again, blocking out a little bit of time to deal with your emails, or our next tip is going to be about getting some help to deal with them.
Okay, so let's go to that because I want help. I totally want help.
Okay.
So number 4.
For myself, I get so many emails a day that I can't do it by myself. And I think there's a lot of small business owners that feel that way. And if you can't do it by yourself, there are people that will help you. Most busy executives, they have an executive assistant who is filtering their emails and only pushing to them what they really need to see, right? Most of it they deal with. So if somebody emails, the CEO of a big company and says, "Hey, I need to meet with you on such and such about this," and their assistant knows that that's a priority for their boss, they're just going to put it on the calendar, right? They're going to take care of that for you so that you are not even involved in it.
Perfect.
And so if you have a VA or you have an administrative assistant, and you can give them access to your inbox to help you manage things, out of those 120, I said before, there was a study that said average 121 emails were received and only 40 were sent. So to me, that tells me that of those 121 emails, not even 40 of them were things that you needed to respond to, right?
Right.
Because probably you sent some other emails besides those 40 on average that you send out. So if somebody else could take those and process them, some of them just need to be filed. If it's a receipt or something, it just needs to be filed. If it's a receipt that needs to get forwarded to your accountant or to a software system, hey, have your assistant make a rule for that so that you're not having to deal with it and get the help. And the important thing to know when you're picking out somebody that's going to do that for you, number one, it's somebody that you want to pick somebody that you trust, because they're going to get a lot of access to a lot of information, right?
Right.
But you also need to know that they're not going to think exactly the same way you do. And so you have to, there's going to be some more time involved at the beginning of this as they learn, okay, these emails are important. These emails, they don't care about. This is a sales email. Even though it looks like it's not a sales email, it's a sales email. And you have to train that person to start thinking like you do to manage your inbox. And some VAs, that's their strength. Some assistants, that's their strength. And some it's not. So you want to make sure you get somebody who's comfortable with that and that, feels confident that they can handle that for you.
How do you find that person?
I think that there's several ways. I think the best way to find somebody that can help you with managing your inbox is to ask other small business owners if they're getting help with that, who they're using, and if they're happy with the situation and how it works. Because different VAs and different assistants will have different ways of doing it too. I know some people that drop everything into a folder that says stuff you need to deal with. Other people will star things. They all have their own processes that they're used to doing. And if you work with somebody who's used to doing this, they're going to have suggestions to make the process go as smoothly as possible for you as well. So ask for referrals.
Okay. I see a recurring theme here, and that is, in order to get control of your email box, you have to put in some time up front to automate things.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not, unless you just don't answer your email ever and miss out on a lot of business and opportunities.
Or you never give your email out so that you don't get stuff in your inbox. I have one coach of mine that actually recommends changing your email every 5 years.
Ooh.
To clear out the spam and kind of start over. So that's another thing that you can think about. So that's not on my 5 tips, because the idea of giving up my email address is a little bit traumatic to me, but it's an option.
One of the things that I didn't even realize I did until you said that, one of the things that I do is I have like 4 or 5 different email addresses that I use in different areas of my life. So one is personal, one is business, but I have them all coming into a primary, they're all forwarded to my main email address. But that helps me, if for no other reason, that helps me segment what I'm going to be thinking about, when that comes in. So anyway, I don't know if that's useful or not, but.
Well, it's useful too, because it's really easy to set up rules about who things were written to.
Right.
So we've got a we've got various email addresses. We've got one that we use for sales. We've got one that we use for, customers sending stuff in. We've got one that we use for, information requests. We've got a bunch of different emails that we use. We've got some shared group emails between my team members, and I can filter based on who those are sent to as well. Back to our previous topic.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Richard says, I use CIDW@domain.com for what? For I don't need.
That's awesome.
And he shares it openly and willingly. I love it. Okay.
I hope Richard never gives me that email address to send him stuff to.
Now we know. That's
Exactly.
funny though. That's good.
Exactly.
Okay, good stuff. All right. So now number 5, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this because I have so many friends in that camp that you're about to talk about. So
number 5. Yeah, number 5 is look for alternatives. There are so many ways that we have to communicate, and we already know that email is not always the most efficient. Sometimes we still need to pick up our old friend, the phone, and make sure that just get a quick answer as opposed to emailing back and forth. That's one really good alternative that people forget exists.
That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy talk, isn't it? Another alternative is using some of the more kind of instant messenger type communications. Like, for example, we use Slack in our business to kind of have conversations and figure out what's going on. But sometimes that's not the most efficient form of communication either. So I've got another client that absolutely loves Voxer to kind of send walkie-talkie messages back and forth. It's like a voicemail, but it's not a voicemail. So that's another easy way to communicate with people. Sometimes I will record a quick video to explain something to a team member. Sometimes I'll show, a little video, a little training video, because it's easier than sending email. Other people, project management systems. If you're working with several people on a project, how nice is it to have the whole conversation about that project within the project as opposed to in your email, so that when it's time to work on project A, you can go to your project management system. You can look at project A and see what's going on in project A, and it hasn't been popping up in your inbox as you've been working on projects B and C.
Yes.
So it's just another way to kind of compartmentalize things. And so there's so many options. I mean, we're communicating with people all kinds of ways now, right?
All kinds of ways, yeah. And everybody, it's exactly what you said. Everybody has their style. I personally love quick, short text messages. I don't care if they come in text, Facebook Messenger. I just don't care where, Slack, whatever. I'm just now really embracing Slack, I'll be honest. But I do see the benefit to that. But I just want quick, if it's information, if it's relationship building, that's different, right?
Right. Well, yeah, for sure. But I also want to say something on, like Slack and everything else. If you're sitting on Slack all day long, Slack is, kind of an instant messaging system where stuff's popping up and you're getting notifications that there's people talking to you. If you're sitting in there all day long and responding to that stuff all day long, you may as well be in your inbox. So you want to be careful how you're using instant messaging and how you're scheduling your time. And it doesn't matter how people are communicating to you. If it's interrupting your focused work time, it's going to interrupt your focused work time. So when I'm focused, my Slack is closed. When I'm ready to see what's going on with projects and answer questions for the team, my Slack is open. Same thing with my inbox, and you have to manage all of those communications, because if people are coming at you from 18 different directions, you're going to be running in 18 different directions. And manage your calendar is part of this whole email management thing as well, I think.
That makes sense. And it's so true. What you said is just so true. We have to take control of our time and of our priorities, because we have to fight for it. We have to fight for it.
Yeah. If you want to meet your goals, if you want to get your priorities done, you have to put your priorities first over what everybody else is sending you, because everybody else has their own priorities as well. And if you spend your day responding and putting out fires, you're not going to get to focus on, and you're probably not going to achieve whatever your big goal is for the year or for the day even.
Right.
Because you've dealt with everybody else's.
Perfect. All right. We covered some good stuff today, Julie. Just to give a little recap. Number 1 is unsubscribe. Number 2, don't check your email all day long. Number 3 is utilize rules and filters. Number 4 was use a VA or assistant. And number 5 was use email alternatives. This cuts down on time too, because you don't have to now construct this perfectly, crafted, etiquette appropriate email. You can just go blah, 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 right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly what we all do. We go to blah, blah, blah. Perfect. All right, Julie, any final thoughts?
No, I think the big point is really just any communication method can take over your time. Focus and concentrate, and schedule communication time, whatever method you choose to do it in.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. And if you are watching this on the replay, or if you think about it throughout the day and you have like another question, go ahead, come back, post it in the comments, and Julie will check back when it's in her calendar. She's going to come back and check back and get back to you. All right. Thanks a bunch. Take care. Have a great day and a great rest of the week, everyone. Thanks, Julie.